Good morning. Welcome to the Tuesday, September 17th, 2024, Idlewise Board of Commissioners meeting. The first thing on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? I don't know of any need for non-public session today.
Nor do I.
All in favor of the agenda as printed?
Aye.
And at 9 o'clock, we'll move to approval of the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of, what's the date on those? Last week?
September 10th.
Do I hear a second to approve the minutes?
Second.
Discussion?
I think there were spelling errors I needed to correct, which I think I
Hmm.
corrected most of them.
I didn't catch anything for September 10th.
I didn't either.
All right.
Yeah, neither did I.
I think you're thinking from 2 weeks ago, which you...
No.
All in
right,
favor
great.
of approving the agenda, the minutes as written?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Thank you.
And at 9:01, we will move to approval of the manifests.
Mhm.
So, let's see. The first manifest is the operations and payroll manifest. I'll make a motion for discussion to approve the operation and payroll manifest for a sum of $9,219.93. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion. I just had one thing.
Okay.
Um, So I'll give you a little rundown on what this had in it.
Mhm.
We're paying for propane $177.38. Water system heating $59.12. We bought some coal patch asphalt from Burke Quarry, 1.1 ton, I think, for $164.28. Memorize that, a ton of coal patches.
164.28, yeah.
One little nit is, we buy from two companies that have propane in their name. One company we actually buy propane from, and the other company we actually buy diesel fuel from. So in the description of the split, where is it, Eastern Fuel,
Propane
yeah,
for 452.06.
yeah, that's actually diesel fuel.
Oh, the Eastern field?
Yeah, in the memo field it says propane,
Yeah.
so, and we already
Okay,
bought
look at it.
propane from MRI Gas in the first line. So just, that probably should say.
Oh, it does, it's diesel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 99.24 we purchased diesel.
We
Yep.
bought $177 of propane from AmeriGas. We bought $452 of diesel from
Yep.
Eastern Propane.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
That's the only thing I had about this. We paid the law firm $360 to be involved with one driveway. 3 separate actions by the attorney, if
Mm-hmm.
you looked at that.
It's an expensive driveway permit.
Yep, but it was educational all around,
It was.
It was.
and it was worth it.
Yep.
It had its intended
If we could only
effect.
get the person that was not cooperating to pay this legal expense, that would be great.
What was that amount again? Okay, 360.
$260,
Yeah.
Okay,
$73.
so in reality, we lost 160.73.
We paid the state of New Hampshire $180 to do the testing of the samples that our volunteers brought from the ponds.
Mm-hmm.
Which I helped,
there's
was
two
very
of them.
educational how it was
One's
done.
180, one's
180,
190.
190.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 tests,
Yep.
and then the rest is the payroll, which there was only 1 hour of overtime. And I saw on yours, on 1 week you worked 39 hours, but then the next week you worked 41, that balanced it all
Yep.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Any other questions on this manifest?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. At 9:05, we'll move to the water assessment deposit of $1,158.37. I don't think we actually vote on that, that's just telling us that's
Yeah.
what the
Yeah, it's
deposit
just
was.
information.
Correct.
Mhm.
So the second manifest is water hookup money,
Yeah, this is a new water hookup
and we're paying out $32
to get checks for it.
for the account.
Yeah.
Which we voted on.
So I'll make a motion, we approve that manifest for discussion. Second?
Second.
So, is it that we asked the local company for checks and we didn't hear back and then we ordered them from the bank?
Yeah, that was
That
the
was
operating
Bank of New
account.
Hampshire.
Yeah.
So this is two different accounts then?
Yeah, we got lots now.
So this $32 isn't for the same $300
No.
check? It's a different bank?
Different account.
Different account altogether, okay. So huge difference in, this is for
Completely.
100 checks,
Yes.
the other one was for
It was
300 checks.
It was actually 200 checks,
She
so it was
printed,
more than $1 a check.
So we won't
Through-
go with them anymore.
Yeah,
the $300 payment we made was for 200 checks, not 300.
correct.
Right. And this is,
Is this a invoice that, is this a printing that Francine just did recently?
Yes.
So Francine is still with us,
yes,
we just need to wait.
She was on vacation,
Oh, okay,
and
but she didn't know how to change her voicemail to reflect that.
Okay.
So, yeah, we didn't know.
the
yes,
good news is we can still get them from Francine,
yes,
just not in haste.
yes, and obviously much more cost effective
Much
than
more.
deluxe.
And I like the checks better.
Yeah,
They're better quality. Yeah.
Did we get checks for the new operation account? in
She's working
Norfolk?
on that right now.
Great, okay.
And who's Francine? Is she,
She's the local person that we used to do payroll with, but now we just ask her to print QuickBooks checks for us. Conway.
okay.
So all in favor of approving this manifest for $32,
I,
Aye.
3-0 on that. So at 9:07, we'll move to the DPW report. Good morning, Jeff.
Hello. So we got the grader should be back in action. Everything seems to be going as it should right now, so we're gonna start putting that to use. We've had braking failures and on codes and things like
How many of
that.
us believe this is working now?
Well, I saw them working on it yesterday when I was driving back home from the
Yeah,
Boston.
and they were in touch with Volvo themselves, and there was all this contact, and they said try this and try that. So he worked on all these things and says she should be ready to roll. Repressurize the system or something like that, and
So Tony told me the good news is the grader is working, and I said to him, well, we should first try it out on flat ground first, and he laughed and yelled out to him that's what Jeff said to him.
right. We're gonna
Yeah.
keep her on the flats
Keep
for
her
a little
flat.
Sure the
bit until
brakes
we
work
feel
before
real
we bring her
comfortable.
yes,
I guess Tony prefers the hills, but keep
Well,
flat ground to begin
no, it's some of the roads up on the hills that need
Right.
the most
with.
attention.
Yeah,
But
right,
Um,
but you
so-
have to be
so
able to safely get there.
right, so that's a good
Get
thing.
back.
Well, weren't you gonna work on Grissom when everything started blowing up again?
We were gonna do some work on Grissom. We took a ride there and we're gonna fill a few potholes in here and there, maybe shape it up a little bit. But the presidential is where we really want to attack.
Right, but Grissom's relatively flat, right?
Yes,
So that's,
correct. So
And,
that's not a bad one to test her out
The
on.
hill going up to Visp on West Pagamo,
Right.
that needs,
Attention.
Gravel
That
and
needs some graveling
shaping.
and all that, yep.
and that's a hill.
And that's a hill. So, yeah,
West Pagamo up to Visp, going to Old Town Road.
right.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So we did the hot topping last week. We ended up getting 3 ton altogether. We laid that hot top in on Chicorowa where that needed to be patched, and then we did that ditch line on 22 Aspen. So all those came out good, and we got, like as you mentioned, that ton of cold patch, and we did that job up on the S turn there on Oak Ridge, and we took care of that little drainage issue there.
Did you bring gravel material up there?
Yes,
1.5 or 3/4, what you use?
3/4.
Three-quarter.
No, I'm sorry, 1.5,
1.5.
yes. Yeah,
And that got packed down or how?
yeah, we were able to get it packed down pretty decent. And, yeah, we were pleased with how that come out, and
Great,
we get,
thanks.
not that I'm asking for some heavy rain, but we get some rain and we'll see how that holds up with what we did.
And for this
We
week.
have to make a list of warrant articles, because the other part of that is to hire. Do you know of a machine that actually has a hammer on it? You were saying a rubber track or rubber tire?
Well, they put them on excavators, so that the bucket would go off the excavator and they put the hammer attachment on them. I would think to get around easier, a rubber track
You know what,
excavator.
somebody that has a rubber track and has a hammer?
I believe Chadwick does, they rent things like
Oh.
that, yeah.
So we're thinking of renting?
Well, we don't have an excavator, we'd have to rent the
Yeah, I
excavator,
just think that,
or hiring it out.
Getting an operator to do it.
Right, well, I
Bring
guess we'd have to contact a few of these companies with excavators to see if that's a job they're willing to do. And go that way, I mean, whether they have a rubber tired excavator or if they're gonna go, the price they give us is for trailering it around, whatever works out to be the better price or something like that.
They don't seem to want a trailer up to the top of Oak Ridge.
Right, I mean, my thought would be driving the machine around, but
Yeah.
again, with tracks, it's gonna,
I only ask now because we gotta remember, if we're budgeting, it's two different things. If we rent the machine,
right,
it's one budget. If we hire a contractor, it'll be another budget,
okay,
different amounts.
right.
And what is the purpose of this?
In looking at the driveway problems up on the S-turn at Oak Ridge, we saw that the way to fix this permanently is to chip away at ledge that's in the ditch to let the ditches actually let the water flow. There's places where the ledge forces the water out of the ditch onto the road.
Oh,
And we cited several different areas in Idlewise where the ledge is doing that, so we'd have to remember to do the work to calculate how many places, we should make a list of how many places this is, so we're
Yeah.
budgeting correctly when we ask the voters for the funds to solve the ledge and the ditch problem.
Right. Yeah, I'll put together a list of all the spots, how many we have, get an idea how many need to be hammered
Then we
out.
need to spec how wide, how deep we want
Right,
the ledge removal to be,
right, to create the ditch line.
and how much time is gonna take to do it, how much cost is.
Right,
This is a pretty big project, actually,
it is.
and it's been waiting 60 years to happen. Sorry, go ahead.
No, okay, so yeah, so with all that going on, we did those things. They were back to fix the stabilizers on the backhoe, and all seemed well, and I may have to have them back again. I don't know. They just did it again this morning. They sweep back up. So again, it's under warranty, and I don't understand what the issue is. I think he was replacing the whole cylinders on there last Friday. I let him in, he did his work, and I never heard back from him, and I know it was the end of the day. I left, I went by, he was all locked up, he never checked in with me when he left. So I gotta call in there and see where they left off with it, if he thinks it's done or not, because it's still happening, so
So they put all new hydraulic cylinders in?
I don't know if they're all new cylinders or if he repacked them or what he did yet. That's why I gotta kinda find out. But he told me he'd have the problem fixed, and we're just gonna keep checking it here, but they did weep back up on us once this morning.
who is this vendor that you're
John
talking about?
Deere.
Okay.
But, so we cut some shrubs around building 2. There's a pine tree up on Chicorowa View that's kind of sticking out into the road a little bit, like that one off of Idlewise Drive that I'm gonna trim up a little bit. Some limbs that are sticking in the road. And then I think it says a 22 burn where the contractor's doing the job there. We just did the water hookup for. We talked to him, and I know it was initially an 18-inch pipe, and we thought we should go with a 24, and he was wondering if we could because of the sizing of the ditch and the depth and all, with a smooth bore 18 would work. If we could get approval on having him put the 18-inch, he's wanting to put that in, and I don't see any issue with that. The driveway above him is a 15-inch pipe. I mean, the water flows through there.
Yeah, well, we went to 24 when it was from the DPW, we got the
Yeah,
recommendation for 24, so if you want to change it back to 18, that's fine with me.
yeah, I'd like to do that.
So I'll make a motion, we change the spec on the pipe at 22 burn to an 18-inch culvert, smooth bore.
Because that water line goes through there.
A lot of water flows through there, that's why.
Well, the water flows through, but I mean, the water line is underneath there as well, so the coverage he's gonna get over
Yeah.
that pipe and at the depth of the ditch, I don't see that the 18-inch pipe getting overtaken for the road in that area.
Because the
So,
concern was how deep
right,
you were
how
going.
deep
Right.
the
Just
ditch is with the
can't-
water line in there
With
and
the
the water
water line
line
in
Is
there.
freezing
the property
off.
with access on both sides?
Yes.
of the well and
Yes.
burn?
Yeah.
Okay. And the issue is, and does the smooth bore culvert 18-inch?
That's gonna allow plenty of water to flow through there. It's not gonna be one that's gonna get clogged up. I mean, that water's flowing
Flows
through there.
around, pretty much.
I
Yeah.
mean, this contractor's gonna put the pipe in right, he's gonna do it all the right ways. I've got no issue with that.
So I made a motion, there was no second yet.
Second,
We already kind of had the discussion, so aye.
Okay, I'll give him the green light.
Vote yes, 3-0?
aye.
Yep,
3-0.
And,
So before you move on, should we change the permit for construction? Because the permit for construction says the 24.
yeah, it does.
Would it just be an
So-
amendment?
Or we can redo it saying that it was changed
Well, the
the-
vote
through
we just
today's,
did-
Approving
through today's
change.
meeting.
Okay,
just
Okay, so, and that way we'll, all the records will,
There was a vote today.
Yeah.
to change.
yeah,
Yep.
beautiful.
yeah, and then, we helped Ian again, Simply Water, with the hookup on 5 Hotwell last week. And that job went smoothly. The water hookup, we cleaned up the road.
We inspected that one last week, right? That was the new construction.
Yes.
Yes.
And we saw some, what looked like water line, but it was, couldn't
Well,
quite figure out where it was all gonna
The
go.
water line looked like it came from the curb stop and went down the road for, like,
he had quite a tail left.
Yes, that's what we
Yes.
You know,
saw.
yeah, so that
almost enough to reach the house.
yeah, I don't know if Dawson had dug that water line, they did the site work there, so they had the water line to the ditch, and then, like you said, I mean, so we caught, the main was out in the middle of the road, and, Ian dug the water line, the main up, and the trench through the ditch into the
So that
house.
was,
That was just,
what we saw running up the road was the excess from the house?
yes.
Okay.
The excess from the house,
Not from the
that's
curb
all
stop.
gone now and cleaned up and back together.
Okay.
okay.
But there was a lot of, that was like a lot of wetlands there.
Oh yeah, that was pretty soupy. Yeah.
Okay, because I was wondering how that was gonna work out.
Yeah, well, that's why, again, Ian having the truck there, it works out real slick, because you can't put that material back in the hole. So we truck that sloppy stuff off,
no kidding.
and then get him some dry material.
If you can make a note, speaking of that, when they get to fix the leak on Oak Ridge Road, I want to make sure, in the past, they have put new material in the hole, backfilling
Yeah,
on a paved road, and that's not good, because the material doesn't expand and contract the same way the rest of the material does, because it's different. So, when it comes time to backfill in the leak on Oak Ridge Road,
right.
if you can make sure that the same material that came out of the hole goes back in.
Yeah, and we're always trying to do that as well, like you say, because that material's been in there and it knows,
Yes.
like you said, and it's just sometimes the stuff is so bad that you don't want to be using it. You can't pack it when it's so wet like that. But he's going to be doing that one in a couple of weeks. I talked to him yesterday about that, so we'll probably assist in that as well, the backfilling and.
It's a small leak, but we need to get it done before it starts to
Yeah.
freeze the road.
Right.
buckles it.
Right. So that's gonna get taken care of, but yeah, that's a good point to make.
Because
So-
they did that on Blendon,
Right,
and that backfill, that patch job has been ugly since.
right, yeah, I think we put some coal patch in there on the
'Cause
side of the road
It
there.
heaves differently than the rest of the road.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll probably be in need of assistance over there today on that leak on Little Shore. They discovered it yesterday, well, not discovered, but, you know, got good eyes on what it is and moving forward with that. But yeah, and we're just gonna get back to doing what we're doing, grading and ditching.
We need to have it as standard procedure that when it's known what the situation is, that like the email comes from Simply Water Monday, that you guys got a copy of,
Mhm.
that goes out as a MailChimp announcement to,
I posted it on the website page.
traditionally, we've notified them through MailChimp. I got a message from somebody saying, why didn't they get
Right,
the MailChimp, because they're used to it.
yeah.
So, do we wanna do that, or?
I think more people see it if we do the MailChimp.
Yeah, it's a push, as they
Right.
say, as opposed to
Somebody having
Yes.
to look up the,
to know to go to the website to find that kind of
Gotcha.
information.
right,
I
right,
did-
especially when there's gonna be a lot of houses without
Yeah,
water
And
today,
it goes up for a couple of days, yeah.
including me.
You were out for a while? Because they're in the
well,
zone that was
A little
oiled.
bit yesterday, and I'm expecting to lose water for most of the day today,
Yeah,
because he
How was
said.
your service? Did you,
It's fine, don't touch it.
Well, they're gonna be,
Jeez.
they're gonna be messing with it today.
Yeah.
Well, they
Well,
didn't mess with it yet. I don't know why mine was fine,
So-
because mine goes right through there, but.
Right. Yeah, you'll probably lose water today.
I saw the pictures, they dug it all yesterday, then refilled it, and now they're back there, I just wanna
they
try to buy
they
some
just put
Tony there.
sand in overnight?
That's all it was, just put
Yes.
sand,
Yeah.
okay.
As they were closing the road on my way to the meeting, the little guy said, the leak seems to be worse today than yesterday.
yeah, well, because when the regular material was in the ground, I don't think it was running as fast. But now when we backfilled it with sand,
loosened it up.
it definitely just turns that to slop and then it just runs. Now, who knows too, I mean, poking around at it yesterday could have loosened it up even more.
Taking the thrust block
Then
out.
the thrust power, when turning it back on, could have
Yeah.
opened it up more.
Yep.
But we know, well, I said, I'm not in there doing it, but they know what's going on. They know they got the right parts to go attack it, to fix it. So it should be open it up, expose it, turn it off, clean it up, get the new parts together and bury it and walk away.
So yesterday was just exploratory to see what was
Finding it.
going on.
Well,
Yes, they had to
yes,
find where
and
the
if we
leak
were
was.
able to, if it was a fixable thing, if the parts were available and on hand, it could have been fixed. But looking at what was there, I mean, not to get into it crazy, but there was 4 different pipes. There was the pipe that was broke wasn't just a straight one to be a cutout and put in a piece. You know, it was like angles and
The pipe
twists.
that leaked is the oldest pipe.
Right.
It had an elbow that sent the pipe down, deeper.
Where to?
I don't know.
Down into the ground, and then it
And
went
that's
into
where it had a thrust block, which was just a big stone,
right.
which got taken out so they could get at the fitting today. And once
would-
that thrust block is out and the ground's disturbed, now the pipe is just in sand. And when the pressure's applied back, a leaking elbow is gonna,
Right.
Give it up a little bit
And that's
more.
why the leak was worse this morning than it was yesterday morning and over the
Wow.
weekend. So just a bunch of those, and then the coupling it went into was one of these, plastic and the metal, and there's, certain types of names for them.
pipes that were put in by the developer at the beginning
Right.
didn't follow any AWWA, American Water Works Association standards.
Right, there were no standards and codes.
Probably wasn't any.
Yeah, so,
Well, there were.
Oh,
but I'm sure we'll, help with the backfill of that and all
Saying Great
today.
Northern did it on the quick and cheap?
Yeah, it was
To get her done.
a variety of people with just a backhoe.
Yep.
They went down as deep as the backhoe could go.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I've been tracking and documenting the materials pulled out of these jobs that we've been, you know, helping Ian on, and what we're putting back in there, so I've got the documentation on all
So-
that stuff.
Do we want to shift the accounting for time that they put into helping with water hookups away from the operations budget to the water budget?
That makes sense.
You do wanna do that.
It makes sense?
For example, how many hours do you think,
I could put the hours to it too, if you want me to,
just roughly
with
how many
those
hours
days.
were with water versus
Like what we've done so far,
just yesterday?
just yesterday,
so
for
you get an
example.
idea. Half?
So I'd say we probably, went with maybe 3 hours to 4 hours
So
over
three,
there.
3 hours of 2 men,
Two
So
men.
6 man-hours.
Six
Yes.
man hours
Went to
yesterday,
water.
Worth
went
doing
to
it?
water.
was
Yeah.
shifting the accounting?
I think so.
Okay.
That would help us.
I could definitely
Lucky
do
you.
that, like I said,
I
on
mean-
my markings with what I
Is
put
this
down for
Are
the,
you talking about payroll?
Yes,
Gotcha.
And the same with the sand.
right,
yes.
We should,
And
Move.
using the machines.
because, you know, we're using the sand that's coming out of the DPW,
absolutely.
you know, the
Gravels,
highway
gravel,
budget,
sand.
and using it on the water, so.
So I have all that documentation. I'll put the hours to that too. I could go
So-
back and think
So you'll
about.
write it on the time card for Jen to,
I can do that as well, yeah. Moving forward,
however
if you
it
want. Yeah,
works, that you.
Yeah, the time card
communicate
would
that.
be
Okay.
better. 'cause it's
Okay.
yeah,
Documented,
I could
yeah.
do that.
That way it's happening at the time,
Right.
Right.
the same day, it's being written down. Zero. Great.
And as far as materials go, I could always go back and recode amounts, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's not a big deal, but I would just need to know
How much?
ultimately how much.
Yeah.
And that's what I have.
Any progress on finding a,
I had, I had a meeting, with that guy last week, and I put a message into Cam, the other guy
Cameron?
there. I'm waiting to hear back and have a conversation with him before.
did he ever acknowledge you reaching out to him?
I just tried calling him, and I haven't heard back yet, so.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, because when I reached out to him, he never called me back, so.
Yeah, I don't know why the tower's right up at the top of the hill, and the service just keeps bouncing around on me everywhere around I drive in the district. I got a couple spots where it's always good, and then a lot of spots it's just so spotty on me.
We're working on getting you new phones.
But even my regular phone, I figure I'll try using that one, and it's the same, and that's an
I
Apple,
think, yeah,
Verizon.
I just
I don't
think
know
it's
what it is,
Verizon.
Yeah,
yeah, it's just
that's
not
what
what
I
it
think.
ever since the winter when we had them times when the towers were down or something. It's never been the same.
Wow, really?
I don't know.
who do you use for a service, Nancy?
Spectrum.
Spectrum, and pretty good all around the village?
Uh-huh.
Because that's what we're
Yeah.
gonna get you onto.
Yeah.
Be patient, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
No, I am, and I'm, that's fine. I just, but I so I'll see what. Like I said, I'll try another call because I don't know if that message went through or not.
Yeah, you can't tell because I call you and it's
Right.
dead. And
Right.
Yeah, so whenever I try to call you and I don't get you,
Yeah.
I default to Tony and his.
Right, because I think he's got Spectrum on
Yeah,
his
I
on
think
his
you're
service.
right.
That's
So
to
his-
let you know that
his-
I'm trying to get through to you
No,
first
he always
beforehand.
tells me
Yes,
that. Yeah, no, I understand.
Carol, you can sell this commercial to Spectrum.
But no, so yeah, working
What a
that angle,
testimony.
and we'll see what happens.
Any other questions for Jeff?
I have one. Have you ever been able to contact the tree people?
I did. They took a look and they said they'd get it before winter.
Okay.
Not sure when before winter's gonna be, but I
so
hope
they
it's
still haven't done
before
it,
the
huh?
snow flies. But yeah, they're
Okay.
they're on that. And
Okay.
I did show him a couple spots, and he knows where to go. I gave him a list of where the wood is
Perfect.
with addresses.
What
so.
about that marked tree that they marked, but it's like a dead tree and
That was
just-
on Chicora
Yeah.
View. Yeah, that's again they marked a bunch of trees throughout the whole
Yeah.
district in the spring. They only got to so much of the district. They're going to be
And-
back maybe next spring doing more.
Oh, gotcha.
They didn't do every one at this
All
point
right.
because they had to get shifted off to somewhere else. That's what he told me. So yeah, I mean, homeowners with trees in their yard. I mean, if they don't want them, then that's their responsibility to have them caught, I mean,
Yeah, but
if
it's
and
their-
if that one's marked
they
with that blue
marked
and
it,
red
yeah.
tape, that's, the power
Okay.
company's gonna get to those.
Alrighty,
But, yeah, I'm not talking it down.
Okay, just,
yeah, no,
just revisiting the whole looking for a new employee situation in,
That's a non-public subject,
okay, well,
Yeah.
so please be very careful.
well, it was just a method,
Uh-huh,
okay, we can do that. It doesn't involve any names.
okay. Like I said, just be careful.
There's no names.
Uh-huh.
It's just an approach.
Uh-huh,
And we learned that Tamworth had, was it 6 candidates for a very similar
Yeah,
position?
five or six, something
Which
like
means that whoever they don't hire, there's 5 who didn't get the job.
Right,
So I was thinking if we could reach out to Tamworth and ask if we could get referrals to those who didn't get the job.
Is that even done? Can you even do that?
I don't see why not. What would prohibit that? To
How
just
we got
ask.
Jeff.
What?
That's how we got Jeff.
uh-huh,
No kidding.
yep. Yep, he
And
was,
I was thinking, Tony said he had some contacts there, so he could do an informal reach out, but we as a board could do a formal reach out to the selectman and the administrator at the town of Tamworth, explaining this is our situation. Would you mind referring us to those candidates that you did not hire? To see if they would be, if we could reach out to them and find out if they're interested.
yeah.
Do you wanna call them, go over there?
Sure, I would be happy to go to Tamworth and talk to the
Is that what you were
administrator
thinking?
there. Well, I was thinking first an official letter from us,
Oh.
reaching out to their board of selectmen and administrator, and then I'd be happy to go over there and just follow up on that official letter. I don't wanna just walk in and say I'm oh, who are you? Well, they don't
So
know me
make
from.
a motion for the letter.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter to Town of Tamworth, Board of Selectmen and Administrator requesting a referral of those candidates who did not get the position for their highway department to find out if we can get those names. We can reach out to them, see if they're interested in our highway position. A little wordy there, but
Yeah, you wrote the letter in the motion.
Is it something we can email to them
It needs a
instead of
second
mailing?
now. You wanna second that?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay,
I guess an email would be fine if it's coming,
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be a written letter that goes out in the mail, just so that they know it's coming from an official board. And like I did this before with what was that, to find out who used paychecks and who did internal paying. I walked in, I introduced myself, and they kind of looked at me kind of funny, like, well, who are you? And I had to explain the whole situation. I think they were a little dubious at first, but didn't matter, that worked out.
You have apprehensions?
No, I think an email would be the way to go
me
Okay.
too.
versus an official letter from the board.
Right, reach out to via an email.
So amend that to an email? As opposed to a letter and a
Aye.
motion? I'm okay with that too.
Okay,
Any other discussion? All in favor?
aye.
3-0 on sending the email to Tamworth?
Only bring it up because I thought that was a great idea, that, great information we got, and we should act
Let's
on
just see
it.
what happens.
Yeah.
Mhm.
gotta-
Yeah, all we
gotta-
can do is ask.
Why not?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we can ask,
We gotta chase down all leads.
you know?
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, thank you.
You got it, thank you. Enjoy another lovely day in the valley.
You too.
I plan on
Oh,
Oh.
it's okay, I got one more thing.
it. Yeah,
You do this all the time.
It's okay. Just occurred to me.
Just one
What?
minute.
Okay, were you able to reach Doug and find out what the status on the rafts were moving?
I haven't
Okay.
talked to him yet, no.
Okay.
Wasn't he away?
Somebody said he was going away kind of
Yeah.
last week, I think, but
Yes. Right.
I'll give him a shout, you know, the weather's still been nice. so I haven't-
That's what I was
Okay.
concerned about. I mean, it's not critical right now, but
Right,
who
no,
who
no,
knows what the
we'll
weather's
have-
gonna be like 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we'll go pulling them in.
Okay.
I'll see what's up with Doug and if I could get access to those buoys, whether he wants, you know, he's available to help, or if I could just at least get the buoys, we can do it. I'll talk with him.
Okay,
Yep,
okay,
perfect, thank you.
thank you.
See you down the road.
You got it. Try to get it so you can not take the long way.
It's a scenic route.
So at 9:35, we have no scheduled public appearances. And we move to the administrator's report. I just had a question.
Sure.
We were working in the office and I saw a bunch of invoices from 2023 on the back table.
Yeah. Because we were
Curious.
working on getting the filing system back to how they used to do it, because from what I understand, the auditors for 2 years in a row have really had a hard time trying to find, and we're finding hard time finding documentation because everything is filed via manifest. All the invoices, when we should have vendor filings, which include the invoicing and whatever documentation goes with it, the actual manifest itself that are signed should be a separate file itself, not
Gotcha.
containing.
Yeah.
That makes much
It
more
makes it
sense.
so confusing to find
How
anything.
far back do we keep that stuff in the office?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years, okay, so that's why we got two.
Correct.
Yeah.
What, two square away,
And,
23.
and there were still 3 invoices that we weren't able to back up documentation with, that the auditor okayed us
Yeah.
on it
Yeah,
and was moving forward to finish the audit.
right.
But just knowing that there was still a couple of questions out there, if we can,
Yeah, we don't wanna get
if
in
we
that
can get
position
to
again.
them,
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you know, it would be better for us, I think.
completely.
That answers that question,
Yep,
thank you.
yep.
So at 9:37, we move on to old business, and under old business, we have a quote for IT services.
Well, it's a request for the quote. We have not received anything. I am not getting any responses, and I've called 3 times. I'm hoping maybe Mark will make an attempt, because I know last time when we reached out to them, they seemed to respond. More so with,
Might have been a
With
coincidence,
you,
but I
I-
could call if you think
you
that.
can try.
Okay,
Are we looking for a quote from only a single vendor, or are there other vendors out there
I
that
don't know
are
of any other
qualified to do
vendors
what
we
we
don't
That's
know
the
other
only one that I
vendors that
know.
are in
IT.
the local area.
Right.
That's
a
another
couple
one
of
we could
them-
ask the other towns if who they use, if it's different from the one we were asking.
I mean, even in the last message that I left, I asked them, even if you cannot, you know, entertain us with the quote or whatever, you're not interested, let me know. It's just a quick phone call to say, no, I'm sorry, we can't
Or an
provide you
email,
with
yeah.
services. But haven't done that, so
Well, maybe they want to, they just
they
can't.
just can't get to
find
it
the
Right.
time
yet.
that you're gonna do that.
That's
yeah.
what I'm
Right.
assuming.
All right, let's
Then
let's-
I'd like to
let's
make a
broaden it
motion.
out, let's see if we can find others as we continue to
Okay.
close the loop and
Yeah.
get a firm
Mhm.
answer one way or the other.
Yeah,
Right.
Well then, can I make a motion that we, similar to the employee that we just emailed to surrounding municipalities, just asking who they use for an IT
well,
company?
Madison uses them, that's, I think, why we wanted to go with
Right.
Rutledge.
Right, but we could reach out to Tamworth, Albany,
Do you wanna second that and
Conway.
email to the surrounding towns?
Sure, we might as well.
Can't hurt to ask.
They're probably all using the same place, but,
I'm sure,
um,
or most of them are.
Well, we'll find out.
We'll never know.
Right.
You
right, but we
even-
can certainly reach out.
You can even go as far as Freiburg.
Yep. Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
3-0.
Ossipee.
Okay, so now we're moving to signature items. and that's gonna be driveway permits. 2 of them for operations, 47 Hotwell, 3 of them, 5 Hotwell and 2 Chicoro View.
Which we saw last week.
I have them all here. So these are ready for signatures when you want them.
So we'll do these in order. I'll make a motion that we approve 47 Hotwell for operations.
Second.
Any discussion on this?
Nope, saw it last week, it was good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I thought I had a pen. And the second one is operations for 5 Hotwell. I'll make a motion that we approve the driveway at 5 Hotwell for operations.
Second.
Aye,
Any discussion on this?
it's the new build.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. And the third one is operations permit. I'll make a motion we approve the operations permit for 2 Chicoro View.
Second.
Aye.
My comment on this isn't a driveway, this is a park. This guy did an incredible hardscaping,
Yes.
like I haven't seen anywhere before. So I'm approving this. Woody said aye, and Nancy says
Aye.
aye. Next we have driveway permit expires to new owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
2
were,
of them that have,
Notification of
new
expiring?
owners.
Is that what, that's the
Yes.
difference between revoke and expire?
yes. Yeah, there's two properties that have changed owners since we sent out the letter saying that their driveway permit was expired. So we need to reach out to the new owners.
32 Upper Lakeview at 33 Grissom. So I make a motion that we send a notice of expiration to the new owner at 32 Upper Lakeview.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on that. I'll make a motion to send a letter of expiration on the driveway to the owner at 33 Grissom.
Second.
Any
Aye.
discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on that. Then we move to a new category of driveway, revoking driveway permits. We have quite a list of these.
Quite a list.
yep,
So, do you wanna do these as one vote?
I think so.
I think we should do each one individually.
So we're gonna
Okay.
send a notification of revoke, we're gonna revoke the permits to operate for,
They're all under construction permits.
so we're gonna revoke the construction permit.
Yes.
For
Yep.
the following addresses.
And why, okay, why are we revoking? Because they've exceeded the
There's-
time?
no responses.
No responses from the expired letter.
An expired letter. Okay, got it. These were right, understand.
Yeah.
They didn't respond?
So the first address is 12 Clausen, the second one is 4 Claus, and the third is 8 Presidential View. The fourth is number 12 Doorfly. The next one is 29 Grissom. After that is 41 Hotwell Drive, 23 Bristenstock, 53 Burn, and 21 Little Loop. Motion to send notification of revocation to those. Did we already make that motion seconded, or?
Well, you just made the motion, so I'll second that for discussion. I have one question. Four class? Isn't that the one that has started? That's the one across from The house that just got sold or is attempted?
The log cabin?
Yeah.
The big log house? Yes.
Yeah,
I believe that's the address.
so we haven't actually had any discussions with that person.
The owner?
Yeah, we just looked at it.
The owner of, no, I never met the owner
Okay.
of four class,
Alright,
number four class.
alright. So yeah, I'm good with them.
Okay.
So, we were there to inspect it, to approve it this year. Right?
Yes,
Isn't that road where there were two properties way at the end? Way up?
No, this is at the very beginning of four class,
Four.
all the way down Clausen, four class.
Oh, okay.
And we went back with Woodard.
yes,
We were there twice
yeah,
to show them
to show them what it looked like,
what's going on with that lot.
right.
So, how is it that,
Well, we sent the expired letter to the owner and we haven't gotten anything back.
Yeah, we don't get calls, we don't get any responses.
okay. So we weren't there to approve it for the first time.
Right, right.
Gotcha.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a final,
That was just to show me what was going on with that particular lot.
right,
Example of
what can happen.
possible zoning issue, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, so the motion's been made and seconded
Yep.
to, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
3-0 on sending these revocations.
Yeah, and there's two more,
mm-hmm,
but these ones definitely had conditions on the expired letters that we sent, but again, no response. So 7A, Young Frau and 65 Hutwell.
So
It's a
you
revoke
broke
letter.
those out because of the conditions?
Because of the conditions on the expire.
But they were, conditions are expired.
Yeah. I don't know, when I discussed this with
Right.
Nancy, she kinda had
yeah,
to
when
separate
we
it out.
sent out the letters, these two got specific letters different than the regular expired because there's damage
Yeah.
or has been, some damage noted in the area.
Yep,
So I didn't know if we wanted to do
A different revoke?
a
revocation?
different revoke letter for these two specific
well,
driveways.
it's the same revoke letter.
Okay,
It's just noted here that you
There were-
wanted to be clear that these were specific conditions that we needed to always remember.
right.
So I'll make a motion that we send a revocation letter to 7A Young Frau and
Mhm.
65 Hotwell.
Yep,
Second,
Are you gonna do anything with the revocation letter about the conditions or standard letter?
I think it's more for our notations,
Okay.
because we're not hearing back from these people.
Right.
that-
Any further discussion on these two?
Who's we met with an owner on Young Frau at one of those.
that was
strange-
9.
That was 9?
That was
Okay,
9.
Not 7A, okay.
Yep, she's,
Okay.
and she's not getting a,
Yeah, she's working
yeah,
on it.
yep, she's working on
yeah.
it, so she's not getting a revoke letter.
And 65 Hudwell, that really steep driveway near the
Yes.
the
Yes.
curve going around the burn? Well, that was a property for sale, as I recall.
Yes, right after we sent the expired letter, the property
Had a,
grew a
yeah.
for sale
sign.
sign.
For sale
Okay.
sign. Right, yeah,
Saying it was all set to go.
yeah. Yike.
So-
Turnkey property.
Mhm.
See, and that's where it'll become important that we get this
So do-
straightened out
Did we
so
put a
that
vote on this one?
should they ever
These two,
put in
no,
for
not yet.
a building permit, they have, Madison has the record that
It just
it's
expired.
not active.
Any further discussion on these revocation
7A or
letters?
65.
No, now I get it.
Okay.
All in
Takes a
favor?
while, but I get it.
Aye.
Aye.
Three
Okay.
zero.
Yep.
Okay, so then, let me do that. And I'll stop there because I need to move that 9:49 to commissioners' reports. So I guess I'll start with giving you an update on what I'll call the FEMA Magical Mystery Tour. So last week, there was no meeting scheduled, and I was asking if we were asking the FEMA and the state employees whether we were gonna have a meeting and on Thursday, and they said, no, there's no need for a meeting unless I needed to have one.
Mhm.
And that's when I found out that the PDMG, the
What?
PDMG, the leader of the pack of the FEMA side, who rotates out of that position on some scheduled basis. I think they do 4 months or something. This is the third PDMG that I know about this year. He will not be in the office until October 1st. And I was told that he was on R&R,
Oh,
which furthered my suspicions that these are all military people. Because
Prior, yeah.
it's vacation to us, it's R&R to someone that used to be in the military, I think.
Well, leave technically, but sometimes R&R, depending what service you're in.
Okay, leave. So, the point is, there's no meetings until October 1st.
oh,
But Maurice did call me back when I left a message and told me I could call him on his cell phone while he's away. And I said, there's no need to do that, I'm not doing that. Take your vacation.
okay.
But what he did tell me was, they are putting, and this is not in writing, this is on the phone call, they are putting all of the projects on a program that they will estimate it in FEMA. All the data I was running around, getting the breakdown of the benefits.
Yeah,
They must have had a meeting, and what he was saying was, they calculated that from the data that I gave them, that otherwise would be better off having the federal government do the estimates, because the tables they use are higher dollar numbers than what I'm submitting to them. And they know how much data we don't have. So they're saying, it's gonna be better for us to do the estimates, because they know how hard it is for me to get this stuff, and they're saying it's better for you because the dollar amount's gonna be a little better than what you seem to be representing here, because what our tables have are higher than what you're showing us.
Yeah, it's kind of like government per diem rates for various parts of the country may exceed what you actually spend when you're in that area of the country on business. Yeah.
So then he asked if I wanted to submit reimbursement requests for management time.
sure.
And I said, yes, I could see the amount of time that the two TBW guys were attending meetings with the FEMA staff that came up here 2 days, and the time they spent in the video meetings with FEMA with me. I said, my time is hours divided by getting $300 a month, which turns out to be like 12 cents an hour.
Yeah.
And he said, that's the limit that you can put in for your time.
Oh, so, okay, so there's no real estimate that they can do for that, huh?
No,
Oh, but-
there's no,
Okay,
They wouldn't use like a standard, okay. Too bad there's like you said, a table there for that kind of estimated management.
so we'll try to get Jeff and Tony's time reimbursed. They
Okay.
put into
wow,
meeting with FEMA.
yeah.
That would be good.
So that also means that I don't have to put my time into the FEMA stuff, except you saw that I got an email requesting audits.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the reason I cut it close getting here is I saw that I had a few minutes that I could get into actually answering the questionnaire that goes with the audits.
Yeah,
Well, I lost track of the time and, because
Okay.
it got more complicated, but they wanted to know if, what our fiscal year was, was it calendar,
Mhm.
and I think the main thing they want to know is, are we gonna exceed, had we exceeded a threshold of spending $750,000 in this fiscal year? And I think the operating budget is, a little over 750,000.
Mhm. Yeah.
And we just went through the profit and loss statement, and we are not.
Correct.
So I answered no, that we haven't spent 750,000 this year. Then they wanted to know, when are we going, when can I represent that they're going to see the audited report of this year?
Our current
Draft.
fiscal
Yeah.
year?
This year,
Oh,
which
Oh.
I have to,
Like-
Yeah.
testify.
October
as to-
25?
I said, that,
Wow.
we can give them the 2025 audit, 2024 audit.
Yes.
In November of 2025.
All right.
Based on that we're getting a draft of 2023
Right.
promised at the end of this month.
Yes.
Draft,
Right.
which means the final one isn't coming in September,
Right.
it's coming in October.
Yeah.
So I said by November 1st, I think I can get you the 2020, November 1st, 2025, I can get you the 2024 one.
Pick on
That was my
historical, yeah,
safest
Yeah,
bet.
that makes sense.
yeah, and if
So,
we can get it quicker, then that'll be great.
They
So
really-
that's-
Wow.
that's
Okay.
where I am on the FEMA carpet ride.
Wow.
It was a rough ride.
Well, we'll see what happens from here, it seems to be changing.
All
It
the
changes-
time.
It changes all the time, yes, all the time. So the other thing I want to give you an update on is, last weekend Nancy and I went into the office and poured through the 3 black binders and all of Lou's documentation that makes up our water system, curb stop information, and valve information. Larry Sudano also came to the office, and he brought his laptop and his portable hard drive. And on the second computer, the one on, the
left
one
of
that
your-
Jennifer doesn't sit at,
Right.
the other one. Larry sat there and copied all the stuff that he had off of his hard drive into a folder on the desktop of that computer.
Mhm.
So we have everything. He didn't have any scanned images, he had like 2 examples. He did have lots of curb stop data. It was interesting, he had a table of all the 290 something culverts,
Yes, with GPS.
which I hadn't seen them before.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
That's how many we have, 290?
At
Roughly?
least,
Yeah,
I think
at least we might have a couple more
Yeah.
since then.
it's in the area of 290 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all that's on the computer. I took the black books with me to bring to Staples Monday morning, but then we had the leak, and they caught me in time that instead of going to Staples, I brought the books to the site. We put them on the tailgate, and they looked through them. One of the things we had was GPS coordinates of where the valves were at the intersection of Little Shore and Idleways Drive, which is exactly what they were looking for. I'd like the next time that Simply Water is here with Noah, at that time it was Noah that was looking for the valves with me. The GPS coordinates weren't helping him at all. And having a cell phone in the sun outside trying to see this, I couldn't see the way he was holding, I couldn't see what he was looking at all, but I was holding up the paper that had the 2 GPS coordinates so you could see it. And that was of no use to him.
Really?
So the accuracy of the GPS coordinates has been suspect by me all along.
Yeah.
I went to a course taught by an engineer hired by the state of New Hampshire on this stuff years ago in Ossipee. They ran a class for all the local municipalities that have water systems. And he was talking about how trilaterals off the triangle measurements that we do to locate the stuff off a foundation is still the best way to go. Canopy of trees. I want to hear Noah tell you guys, and I want to hear him say what he was actually experiencing, where he couldn't use the GPS data where we needed to use it and get.
And did he say he's come upon that before with using the books?
This was
Yeah.
not,
I
these
see.
guys are, they're trying to focus on what they're
Yeah,
doing,
yeah.
it's not a chatty type of
I
situation.
getcha.
That's why I want him, when he's here,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
in, not in the thick of the battle of the league.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they were done with it. I asked them if they needed more time with them. I came back in an hour and they were into digging with the excavator. They said, and they found the valves using the tape measure and the electronic probe of the metal underground.
Wow.
Took the books to Staples.
You
The
took
lady
them to
behind the
Staples?
counter at Staples Copying Center is just great.
Oh,
Um,
I thought you were taking them somewhere else.
I decided to go to Staples because I doubted that Minuteman was gonna sell me a thumb drive to put the UPS stuff on. And there, Staples has it. Well,
Right.
it goes further than that. Staples is gonna scan all of the documents. She said, I'm gonna give you an estimate based on saying there's 300 pages there. She didn't know. She was looking at the 3 binders.
Yeah.
She's used to looking at stuff. She has 300 pages. She says it's going to be about $1 a page. The reason I do this is a lot of people, when they have a big scan job, think they have no idea and think that's a lot of money and don't want to do it. I said,
That's good.
Do it.
that's good for me.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to try to scan with our scanner and
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a very
Right.
time-consuming
Yeah.
process
Yeah.
to do it correctly.
And
Right.
so they're gonna scan and they're gonna provide, they're gonna get the USB port drive
Yeah.
as part of the quote.
Right.
And they're gonna provide new binders for the old binders and new binders for the new copy. They're gonna print them out 3-hole punch
Yep.
with new separators in the binder. And so we should get, one of the binders of the old book was still okay. So the old Yankee in me didn't want to buy a new one, I thought. So I might buy one anyway when we get
Swamp
there.
Yankee.
Yeah. So we'll get a duplicate of the printout, we'll get the flash drive with
Yeah.
a digital copy of it. And the only other thing, I sent what I found on Amazon. I'm thinking that we should do each one of these pages is valuable, and we saw how beat up they were
Yes.
by use over the
Yeah.
years. They, they're coming out of the 3-ring binder. That we put each one of them in a sheet protector.
For their copy?
Both books.
copies.
The old book and the new copies. The one that will be in the office will be the new copy, probably.
Mhm.
And that will be all sheet protected, which means the binders may not be big enough. May have to get more binders because the sheet protectors will make the thickness of them
Much thicker.
probably
So
more
they're
than
gonna
double.
put each page in a,
They're not gonna do it.
No.
We'll get it done.
Yeah.
What also make it thicker is when I was looking through it, you'd have your standard sheet, but a lot of, then there was little stapled or
yeah,
paper clipped attachments
yeah,
with
but,
little
yeah.
notes and cards and things like that
Yeah.
for some of them.
That's what I think should be protected.
So I'm
Well, a
assuming,
lot of the
those are gonna be
stuff-
separate, that'll be a separate copy that goes with that.
A lot of the loose stuff that we put into a manila envelope, I got to look at, and a lot of it's useless.
Right.
I don't
Like-
even know what it is.
And so, anyway, once we get the print job back, we'll know the exact number of pages, because she will have cut, the machines
right.
will have counted them.
Yeah,
And then we'll order the sheet protectors, which
Mhm.
is $27 for,
What was it, 200? That was on the,
I think it was 200.
I think it was 500, it
Well,
was
oh,
$17 for 200, because I thought we
Yeah, but I
needed more
think
than
your quote
500.
said 200, not 500. But whatever.
Nobody's in there?
We gotta ring the bell, I don't know.
I think he was in and ran out.
What's that?
I'm not sure, I think he was in and ran out.
Okay. I see his car out there, so I figure he's in the building.
Right?
oh,
Yes.
there he is.
Yeah, that's,
Um,
Yeah, that's true.
I wrote two of them. I believe it's 500 was $27 and it was $17 for the next 200. So, because I knew it was gonna be more than,
Okay.
600.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot of money.
Is this on Amazon?
Yeah. If you wanna check,
I'm gonna kind of wait to see really how much we need, really.
yeah, okay.
We don't have many of these at the office. We have like 5 or 6, that's it. I looked to see if we had any stock, but we don't.
Okay, and Lisa Love at Simply Water just acknowledged your email to her regarding where the black water binders are, so.
And Ian asked if they needed to access the binders while they're at Staples.
Mm.
And the lady at Staples says, no problem, if they come here and they need to see anything, we'll take them out, and if they need to make a copy of one sheet and run with it, we can do that. So, she was great.
Okay.
So there's commercial for Staples to back up.
Yeah.
Spectrum and Staples. In Francine Row.
Yeah, and I think several years ago, the board then and people working on the water committee were all, you know, GPS is the way to go, GPS is the way to go, but the problem is that GPS signals for civilian use, even under the best of conditions, without tree covers and all that,
Yeah.
has always had an accuracy level that's, it's pretty wide. It's like within like a 10-yard accuracy or something. Which.
I can't help but remember that I was involved with a lot of different areas of the military when I was in the computer industry
Mhm.
for most of my career. Went to a lot of different places. And when GPS was first unfolded publicly, it was pretty clear that it was built by the military
Yes,
for guidance systems on
for
missiles.
Well, I get, yeah,
And
I
it was
get that.
intentionally built that no one else could use the accuracy of the GPS system.
that's, well, yes, correct. The military gets a totally different signal for GPS than civilian use,
Oh.
and that's
Now-
far more accurate.
Now, it used to be just one, is they didn't, yeah, yes, okay.
Right, I know, and that's because it was unfolded in incremental stages.
So, I always was leery of civilians using GPS for
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. No, it's perfect for car navigation and stuff. It's close enough for government work, as you say, but not military use.
Right. So anyway, we'll see what the story Noah tells about that experience, and whether they're locked into this or not.
So, like you said, the physical, triangulation is, I agree, that's the best way to go, the old-fashioned way.
Did she give you any time frame on the books?
Thursday,
Wow.
and she'll call me if they're done earlier.
Nice.
And she said, we typically need payment for these things. And she said, but I don't want this to be wrong, I can't estimate. I
No,
can't tell you
of
exactly what
course
this
not.
is.
Right.
And I said, well, one thing for sure is, this is the only copy we have, so I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Eh. So you're saying you might need the debit card? To
I'll
go
put it
pick
on my
these up or
card.
something? Okay, whatever.
Yeah. And then we'll have the record of the reimbursement. So whichever way, whatever's easiest for,
If I know that I'm going there and I can get the debit card, I will.
Right.
If it's not convenient to go to the office to get the card and then go there, I'll just use my card.
right.
Okay.
That's it for me. My report.
Yeah, which segues from debit to credit card. Do we know where we stand on getting a credit card so we no longer have to use a debit card?
Well, I think I'm running into the same problem I did with the other one, because they need my personal information.
I
So
don't
I'm not sure
understand
if that's
this.
what's holding it up or not. If it is, can I have a volunteer from one of you guys to fill that part out? Okay. I'll stop by if I need that.
I don't
Okay.
I
understand
think
why
I
they need so
specifically-
much personal.
When I asked the VP at Northway if a municipal card, if there's such thing as a municipal card that didn't require somebody who's putting their personal information
Yeah.
on, that's when she said, yeah, here's this.
Yeah, well, on page 3, here's this.
Huh.
So,
Oh,
and it also says that they would issue a card in the person's name that's there, which we don't really want either.
no.
We just want it for the.
Right, we just
Something
want
for
to
Village
say
municipality.
village
district of
district.
Idlewise.
With the municipality is the guarantor and not any one individual.
I don't know.
Just,
I know,
that
it's
boggles
crazy.
the mind.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, well, I'll stop
Yeah.
and get you some stuff, but that's the last step we need for sure. Okay?
Okay, borrow your pen. So you were away, so that's your report?
That's all.
Oh,
I want-
okay.
I'm done.
Nancy?
Okay.
You don't have any checks to sign.
Yeah, just-
Do you wanna
Of
move
course
over
there
here
is.
and sign?
I will.
Check the signing table.
Okay, yes, we did do the, initial look at, 16 Grissom. So we have, a letter to tell him that he's okay right now for construction, but we need to, he will let us know when he's finished.
So these are the ones that you need to, you guys need to schedule to go back out to these
Right.
locations, yeah.
These
Right,
four.
but I also have a letter right here for them.
No, there's nothing that needs to be signed, it's just
Okay,
the documentation for those locations. And whatever's signed, I think it was, he was out.
yeah, we were, yeah, and we were,
Yeah,
This one.
so we were gonna wait. So, there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
mm-hmm,
For, these will be for final.
yes,
So this will give them their permits for operation.
mm-hmm.
When's the board wanna take a look at 4 driveways?
Want to do it this afternoon?
Yes.
I could do it this afternoon.
I'm available from, I'm gonna say 2:30, 3 o'clock on.
2:30 seems to be our standard time, works for me every
Yep,
time we do
2:30
this.
works for us.
So this is standard for us, 2:30 on Tuesdays.
Okay.
That way we get the dog barking and
That's
Yeah.
one what cost the $200.
Okay, and
Are you
I
kidding?
have the information, so
No, 300.
I won't have to, I won't have to go looking for it first. I already have
I
it,
don't
The
so
only
we'll
thing
be
we
good.
decide
Look at the
is
checks,
where we're gonna
because
meet at
look.
2:30, which
Nothing
property
Um,
gets
where do we wanna
the
start?
honor of the first inspection.
Yeah,
We're still fresh and not
who knew?
pessimistic.
Yeah, they're actually kind of in a good order. It depends on which way we want to start. Do you want to start up the hill at Rhinebeck? And then move south, or start on the flats and move up?
That's the one on the corner of Bristol, Talking Rhinebeck, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we start there?
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna start at 3 Rhinebeck Place. Okay, so other than continuing to monitor and look at driveway stuff, you already talked about what we found at,
water books, yep.
with the water books, and we did put some of that information, like you said, we put it aside to get looked at, to see whether or not some of it needs to be kept or not.
Okay.
And then and Larry did have some good information. The culverts is some good information, even if the GPS is not so good. We at least now have the closest street address and the width, the length, and all of that information properly documented
Right.
for the road culverts. So it was very good that he was able to,
No, that's fantastic.
to meet with us. And that's pretty much about all I have for today.
Okay.
Okay, so
Correspondence.
at 10:15, we moved to correspondence, and the first one is the tower lease agreement.
The big question on this, we do have the confirmation from Sheriff Riccardi that there is equipment and extra equipment above and beyond just a spot on the tower that Conway has that's in the Cabana building. You know, that's, you know, so it's, they're separate a section, but it's, so do we want to, we should do, and it was mentioned a bunch of years ago, that we should set up a separate agreement with the town of Conway, to cover that's, you know, their stuff, because it's separate from the sheriff's stuff. So this is whether we should, if we want to make any changes to the draft and then send it to the lawyer for a final setup, or do we just want to have the lawyer do it? That's the type of questions.
How would it be any different from the sheriff's memorandum of understanding, what goes in there, lease agreement?
One difference would be if the district wanted to have a charge on Conway. Conway's not our primary backup,
Right.
but the sheriff's department is. So that's where, because they are the primary backup, is why the sheriff's was never charged, and it's been in place since, I don't know, 84 or something with the sheriffs. But
So
do we want to do something
So how did Conway piggyback on
a
that,
little separate
on that deal?
from Conway? Well, they've actually had equipment up there for a large number of years.
Even before the sheriff's department?
No,
No. But at some point, they piggybacked on that.
yes,
And that must have been approved by a prior board.
no.
It just happened, it just happened magically? It's just all of a sudden, whoops?
This is why the question came up 5 years ago or 6 years ago, as to whether or not Conway should have a separate agreement.
Okay, so just for my edification and anybody watching this, when you say the sheriff is the primary backup,
Yeah,
and
that might be somebody's philosophy that signed this deal, but that's not my philosophy.
Right,
This is the county. This is all paid for. Everything that the sheriff's department does is paid for by all of the towns in Carroll County.
right,
So, what are the other towns in Carroll County doing for the sheriff's department free? Why is it the Idleways?
well, I don't know if they have anything in any of the other towns.
That's the point.
Right,
okay.
We're
Yeah.
not doing the sheriff's department any favors. We're doing all of the other towns in Carroll County a favor
Yeah.
at our expense. I have questions like insurance.
it's in the agreement, they keep their own insurance.
So
Okay.
I need to study the agreement.
Okay,
I mean, at a minimum,
And I'm looking for revenue for the Idleways taxpayer.
right, that's
Mhm.
where I was bringing
Right.
Conway up as, you know, is this something that we want to turn it into a cost?
a cost sharing, because, you know, at a minimum, we have expenses, costs to maintain the roads. So that, let's say, their people, the sheriff or Conway, has to get up there to service their equipment. Well, guess who's plowed those roads or cleared out that area? So,
Insulted them.
and salted them. So there is a cost to us that benefits them right now for free.
But we're gonna plow the roads anyway.
So we
But
know her
yes.
stance.
But yes, I do understand.
Yeah.
I do
We'll be all
under,
voting her.
yeah, I do understand
Yeah.
the thought process.
Oh, hold on.
Okay, so bottom line, we really need to kind of look at the agreement
Yep,
more in detail.
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, but there's also the building there. I mean, basically, that we own the building, so if the roof needs repairing.
It does
again,
need repaired.
Okay, or, you know, there's rodent damage, which we've seen a little bit up in the, our portion where, you know, the Summit Cabana and the DPW's portion. You know, there's some costs involved in maintaining that building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't remember, do the plows actually plow into that, you know, where people tend to park to go to the summit? I don't think that's plowed,
No, I don't think they,
just, but,
Yes,
they do
they
a,
push it up without pushing the rail fence in,
right,
but
right,
they do plow up and people stomp down
Yeah.
right,
right,
the walkway to the picnic table.
Right.
right, because they need access to they clear access towards the building across the street, the Summit
the old
Pump
summit,
House.
yeah, which is
Right.
privately owned now, so
But we
yeah.
don't
would
do
make
any
sense.
plowing to access,
The
Yeah, we
summit-
don't do
summit
any
viewing area.
shoveling,
you know, we're talking too much about where this is.
Yeah.
right,
Okay, so, all right, so
Okay.
again, that goes back to there are costs involved to us, so, okay.
So,
So this is an open item at the,
there's no motion on the table on this.
no,
no,
no. No, it's just simply under correspondence
So should
because
we
we
set some
did get
kind-
the response from Sheriff Riccardi, and that was where I got the confirmation that Conway does have separate
Equipment.
equipment.
Should we drive a stake in the sand and say that we will have read everything we need to read to
Have a
decide
different
what to do?
discussion?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that, when is it that we want a renewal agreement by all parties involved?
It won't take effect until after the election. So that's why I wanted to get it looked at now, because if we wanted to have any changes done or have a legal review for any
Right.
changes to any of it, that's why I wanted to get it looked at now, because it's after the election that the sheriff would be looking to sign it, and then it gets ratified at the annual meeting. So it has to go in front of the voters.
I see.
So you wanna have something to send to the sheriff's department in Conway in November?
Yeah,
so our voters have to ratify that,
yes. Yes, it will be on the annual meeting. It will be on the warrant.
So like a draft end of October, early November?
well, I guess I don't know, I guess I can understand that for the sheriff in Carroll County, because there is an existing agreement, but Conway, there is no existing agreement.
Correct.
We need to create one to protect Idlewise
I got
should
that,
something.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, but that has to go through the annual meeting and the voters, that?
Yes. It's a long-term agreement. Any ratification of a long-term agreement that will survive this board,
Right,
Right.
which can change as early as next March, has to be ratified by the voters.
which was presumably done with the original Carroll County Sheriff's Department way back whenever.
It's been on the warrant every 4 years since '84.
Okay,
Okay, yes, it was missed a couple of times.
but the Conway never was.
Conway never was.
And that's why I'm questioning why it would need to go through that process. Or maybe,
This is long term.
yeah,
Because it's long-term.
And I would like us to do something that has them, if we are going to have a service fees or
Mhm.
this agreement has fees, that we do it so that they have a chance to have a budget approved on their end for it.
Right.
Right.
So,
right, for next year, and so that we also can list any intended income
Yeah.
that this board's gonna propose,
Okay,
you know, as an additional source of revenue for
Yeah.
the taxpayers, which is always a good thing.
yeah, well, I agree, I mean, like you said, it's our property. We gotta
Okay, so
maintain it.
we're under correspondence. The second one is the VLAP pond testing correspondence, which we received, and we can,
Post it out.
you have a digital copy of that? Came, yep,
We scanned it, last one, and we posted it.
yes.
So,
So, do you need a motion for that, or?
I don't know. Maybe,
So,
We can, yeah,
while we, just standard procedure, we'll post them.
okay,
I think
yeah,
we've always done that.
yeah,
yeah,
Enough on that?
yeah.
yep.
At 10:25, we will go to public appearance. Any public appearance? Public comments is followed by that. And there's no non-public session. The next meeting will be on September 24th, Tuesday, September 24th.
Mhm.
And then the meetings will be on Tuesdays in October, the 1st, the 8th, the 16th, the 22nd, and 29th.
Yep, we have
16th 's a
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
October
When-
16th, yep.
That's
Columbus
Columbus
Day?
Day.
Columbus Day.
Columbus Day weekend.
Yep.
Okay.
Indigenous America Day?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn this meeting at 10:26.
Recess for driveways.
Recess
Yeah.
to go do driveways.
Yeah.
We'll
At
recess until
2:30.
2:30 at Rhinebeck.
Yes,
3 Rhinebeck, let's starting point.
Second recess.
second,
All in favor of recess?
Aye.
aye.
3-0. Thank you, Carol.